doubt about it. What a play by Strickland. Van Sant explodes. Huge ace, sir.
Krista Van Sant. Van Sant says, it is my gym.
The Dogs are ready for a fight again.
En route to what they hope is a national title.
Seattle, Washington. It's NCAA Tournament Volleyball. The fans started lining up early outside Alaska Airlines Arena for a couple of first-round matches today. Up next, New Hampshire has traveled across the country to face the 3-seed Washington Huskies. The Huskies are the top seed in the Seattle Regional. The winner of this match will face Hawaii tomorrow. Hawaii has already advanced, beating Duke earlier today. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Anne-Marie Anderson alongside 21-time national championship coach Al Skates. And Al, Washington has put together one of the best seasons in program history. They did have a little bit of a blip with a couple of losses a few weeks ago. How are they functioning now?
Well, I saw them play undefeated Stanford right here after that match, and they were incredible. They're hitting on all cylinders. They're very strong right now.
Key to their success, of course, is two-time Pac-12 Player of the Year, Krista Van Sant.
Yeah, Krista was the AVCA National Player of the Year last year. This season, she's receiving more sets, getting more kills, while hitting for a higher average than she did last year. She's even served 11 more aces and errors.
Meanwhile, for New Hampshire, they have a sophomore middle blocker in Demi Muses, who plays all the way around.
Yeah, Demi is the best hitter and blocker on their team. And in the backcourt, she passes as well as a libero, digs 2.3 balls a set, and has 1.6 aces per set. She was awesome in the American East Finals. She had 355, she had 14 kills, 5 blocks, and 15 digs. She was the outstanding player of the tournament. She's one of the most versatile players that will be on the court tonight.
New Hampshire is certainly going to need Muses to come up big today. The Wildcats are the 5-time America East champions, but they have a tough task in front of them, trying to beat the Huskies on their home floor. Lineups first serve coming up next. NCAA Tournament Volleyball is presented by Tashikara. We've got the ball, you bring the game. People enjoying themselves inside Pike Place Market here in Seattle. Just a little bit away, we are inside Alaska Airlines Arena. New Hampshire and the 3-seed Washington Huskies about to get underway. New Hampshire is the 5-time America East champions. We told you that Demi Muses, their middle blocker, was going to be key. Meanwhile, as we look at Washington's lineup, fans of this program will notice that Jade Finau is starting as a setter. Al, that's because there was an injury to the Huskies.
Yeah, Finau had 65% set completions in the preseason. Katie Beals is out. She had an ACL injury with 2 points to go in the last match they played. So the new setter, Jade, came in and touched the ball 4 times. She served tough. She set one to the middle for a kill, one to the outside, and then she dug a ball. So that's all the conference experience she's had.
Yeah, I mean, that is really incredible to have her come in this late in the season, literally, as you said, the final points of the regular season. And here she is playing in the NCAA tournament, a redshirt freshman out of Marysville, Washington.
But there's only 3 setters on the team. So Washington runs a 6-2, but Jade has been on the other side of the court, just getting a ton of setting reps, running a 5-1. So she's probably had more reps than any of the setters the whole season because of the inordinate amount of practice time where she set every ball on the second team side of the court. And both setters are capable of running a 5-1 if there is an injury to one of them. But Coach thinks 3 setters is the optimum number to practice with all year. And I tend to agree with him, except when there's an injury, then it gets a little tense.
Jim McLaughlin, the head coach of Washington. Of course, Jill Hershinger in her 19th season as the head coach of the University of New Hampshire Wildcats. She's got the America East Coaching Staff of the Year for the second consecutive year.
Yeah, she's a veteran coach. She's won over 700 matches, and she's very good. She does very well in that league. She got the automatic bid by beating Albany in the finals. And she's well respected on the East Coast.
Jill Hershinger having a good time here with her team, and as you look at the teams in terms of comparisons, it's difficult really to compare them in a way, Al, because their schedules are so different.
Yeah, but that first thing, hitting percentage, wow. If you hit better than your opponent, you usually win the match, and that is a huge difference. So New Hampshire's really going to have a good night hitting, because that's the strength of Washington right there. They're going to have a 6-2 with 3 hitters in the front court at all times, so they're going to have lots of options to go to. And the other team, New Hampshire, will be running a 5-1 with 1 setter. Now they have the capability to bring in Sasha Kukas, who has been injured, and finally at 6'1", being the tallest player on the New Hampshire squad, she is available to play tonight, and they may go to a 6-2 using her, but we'll have to see. They haven't done that all season.
As usual, the fans have come out en masse for this day of volleyball. Hawaii beat Duke earlier today. The winner of this match will face Hawaii. New Hampshire, meanwhile, is in the tournament for the 5th time. Last year, they were matched up against USC in the first round. It was their first time in the tournament since 2003. They lost that match to USC.
Well, last year, they were just happy to be here. This year, they want to win. Big difference in their mindset. They want to at least take a few sets off this number 3 ranked Washington team.
And you've mentioned the injuries for New Hampshire. They, as a result, had 13 different lineups this season, as Jill Hershinger has struggled to kind of patchwork things together to find a healthy lineup.
Well, she's done well. Whatever she's been doing has been working for her. It's a big one for her tonight.
New Hampshire has an 11-match win streak. Meanwhile, the Huskies, as we've said, 29-2 in the season. They are hosting these first and second rounds for the 3rd consecutive year. And for the Huskies, the 3 seed is the highest for them since 2005. They're going to have their Pac-12 freshman first-team player, Tia Scambray, start things off. Strickland puts that ball back into play. Finau outside, Van Zandt. And popped away by Kaylee Nelson.
Yeah, Kaylee Nelson usually starts in the left front for Washington. She's an AVCA 3rd-team All-American, 2-time Pac-12 All-Conference player, real strong hitter. Ace.
Down and right on the line.
Tia Scambray just serves that floater, splits the line on that one. Great serve.
And you've talked about Van Zandt's serve. We're all familiar with Strickland's serve, but really, as a team, Washington, one of the toughest teams in the nation serving.
Yes, I'll tell you why. They put so much emphasis on it. They start their practice, Jim McLaughlin starts their practice with serving, and he ends their practice with serving, and they stat the servers. They work on them technically for most of the season, stat every serve, and they serve better than anybody else in the Pac-12 conference.
Finau back to Kaylee Nelson. And another kill. We invite you to join the conversation with us on Twitter. Use this hashtag UNHVSUW, UNH versus UW, and join the conversation with us on Twitter.
Well, Kaylee Nelson is off to a fast start, one of the strongest hitters and blockers in the country.
Tori Forrest's hit is slowed down. Finau back to Nelson again.
Another kill. 3 kills. She had a nice controlled block on that play to set the whole thing up. Watch how she's, well, this is determination. She just hits it over the block. Yeah, very good.
Back the other way and through the block is Brenna Buckwalter.
That was a nice, quick route by Buckwalter, and she looked really in sync with the setter on that play.
Tori Forrest, the outside hitter, junior from Powder Springs, Georgia, serves. The ball is hit long, and it's a point Wildcats.
Yeah, that set was really deep. I thought Jay Finau set that ball about 12 feet off the net. That pipe set to the backcourt hitter has to be about 8 feet from the net.
Slowed down by Croce. Kaylee Nelson having the most success today. That is her 4th kill.
Well, Kaylee likes her sets.
Yeah.
Kaylee really gets up in times as well. Full extension, hitting high against the shorter opponents.
Jim McLaughlin saying last year in her junior year, something clicked for Nelson, and she has been a consistent contributor since then. Another service ace as that ball was outside the antenna.
It's 2 aces already for Washington. Everybody's a strong server on the Washington team. They have 4 players in the top 12, top 10 in the Pac-12 in serving by aces.
And a huge block from Van Zandt.
Yeah, Van Zandt is a tremendous blocker. One-on-one, she goes right into the seam and just steps it straight down.
Bailey Tanner, meanwhile, serving. She is the other part of this 6-2, been setting all year alongside Katie Beals. Outside. Tanner sends it to Van Zandt. Van Zandt unloads.
That was a nice dig.
Really nice. Kept in play, and it's a free ball to the Huskies. Ball goes a little wild on the set. From the backcourt, triple block. And Van Zandt going to put it away.
Right on the line. Wow. She makes very few errors, I'll tell you that. So Tanner Bailey is the setter now. The second setter comes in, and she's serving. Her daddy was a gold medalist for the USA men's volleyball team in 1988, Troy Tanner.
And another block as they keep going over to that side. Krista Van Zandt creating a wall.
Yeah, one-on-one, she can do the job. She's just, she gets up very high so she can make moves with her arms when she reads the hitter. A lot of players don't get up high enough to make a move.
From the backcourt again, Cassie Strickland keeps it in play. And Van Zandt rips it.
Yeah, that one was right in the seam between the diggers. You don't have time to take a step when the ball's coming that hard. You just have to lunge and hope you get your hands on it.
Cassie Strickland, the libero for Washington, in her first year in that role, won Pac-12 Libero of the Year. And Jim McLaughlin saying at the beginning of the season he had what he calls the conversation with her to tell her, look, we've got a really good outside. I think you can make an impact elsewhere. We're going to step away as the coaches take a break as well. Jill Hershinger talking to her team. Welcome back to Alaska Airlines Arena. NCAA first round action, first set. Washington leading New Hampshire 11-3. Sunday, meanwhile, almost another second of Pac-12 men's basketball. A men's triple header on our air. New Hampshire's middle attack comes back, and it's a kill.
I like that play. They set up a crossing pattern and ran that quick hitter to the right and got one-on-one in the middle. So I think the coach probably set that up during the timeout. Nice play.
Madison Lightfoot, the libero, gets a hand on that, but it's just too sharp from Sibelden.
Yeah, that's kind of a lob one, and if you can only get one blocker up against that, she's going to get the kill. She can beat one blocker. She can turn it either way. It's slow enough to turn.
Lightfoot just 5 digs away from being the all-time single-season record holder for New Hampshire. But again, Washington continues to kill at will.
Yeah, that was headed towards a deep corner. It didn't have a lot of heat on it, but it was well placed.
Washington hitting .438 so far in this match, just one error. New Hampshire trying to spread it out a little.
Yeah, I mean, they're running a good offense, but after getting stuffed a few times, now they're starting to make some hitting errors. I think the block has them a little bit intimidated. And, you know, it's a huge block.
Yeah, it's a very big block, Washington's is, and so New Hampshire trying to figure it out, and especially when they're putting a triple block up again, that ball wide.
Yeah, they're going to block with 3 whenever they can. You know, women's volleyball is looking a lot like men's volleyball right now. Get 3 blockers up. When you get down to it, the final 4, the team that hits and blocks the best is going to win.
Well, and it's interesting that you say that because, of course, we're all familiar with Jim McLaughlin's coaching record, and he coached men for a while, and we've talked about that he coaches the way he coaches. He doesn't adjust to the gender of his athletes.
Well, no, he won an NCAA championship with the USC men in 1990. He's the only coach to win an NCAA championship with men and women, and then he came to Washington and won one with the women. But he coaches them just like he did the men as far as techniques and tactics go. So Jim McLaughlin, who played setter at UCSB in 1985, that was his senior year. I remember him, very fiery competitor, and all business as a coach, I can tell you that. Why did he coach women? Because he has a family, wants to make more money.
There you go.
A better opportunity.
And he has turned this program into perennial national contenders. Scambray, big swing. And from the backcourt again, they're just going over that triple block. Smart move. Melanie Wade picks up the kill.
Yeah, if she gets one-on-one, she's going to crush it. She's hitting about 400, 396. And there it is, one blocker. You can't stop her.
Cassie Strickland now back to serve for Washington. You can bet that New Hampshire has this rotation circled.
Yeah, Cassie brings it.
Oh, my! Another ace for Cassie Strickland.
Yeah, she goes for it every time, even when she shouldn't. She has a hard time holding back. She'll come in after this timeout, and she'll hit the ball as hard as she can. It doesn't matter. 2-minute timeout, no problem. If she tosses it, I guarantee you she'll go for it. If it's a real bad toss, I've even seen her go for it when she should ease up a little bit and just try to keep it in. But this was a 5'8" outside hitter for the first 2 years of her career here. And when Coach had the conversation with her to try to be a libero this season instead of an outside hitter, he had in mind that he had Tia Scambray, a 6-foot outside hitter, coming in. And Tia might have beaten her out anyway. So it was good for Cassie to want to be a libero. See, she's an athlete. She was a quarterback and a linebacker in Pop Warner football, and she's going to take whatever challenge. 3 years of Pop Warner football, she's going to take whatever challenge the coach is going to give her.
Cassie Strickland serving up one of the aces today, but really, as we've said, Washington, tough servers all around.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. They're going right for the lines. The ball's moving like a knuckleball. This one here, you get that in the seam, it's an ace. You need to have 4 people receiving, and you can't always do that.
Washington's had 19 NCAA tournament appearances. They've done very well in the tournament overall, and of course, you mentioned that national championship. It's been 9 years, though, since 2005.
Well, Coach Hershinger, looking at the stats, looking at the bad news here so far, Washington is playing very well.
And another ace for Cassie Strickland, 2 consecutive.
Yeah, she hit that one. She went off on that one, too. I like the way she takes a spike approach on this. She takes a 4-step approach, gets way behind the line. Now here she goes.
Almost a smile.
That one was a little behind the line. She didn't quite toss that in front of her enough, but she still hit it plenty hard.
You know what's great is watching New Hampshire's faces. That was Katie Satora who's looking at it saying, okay, I'm here. This is the challenge.
Here comes the subs in. They're going to change some things here to try to give her Cassie a different look.
Kukas coming in part, and we've mentioned Kukas a bigger block. They're figuring if they are able to pass this ball, they want to get the biggest block they can up there.
All right. Three-person receive. Libero's taking half the court, though.
There you go, a settable ball, and you better believe that that is what New Hampshire needed. Get out of that rotation.
That's right. Okay. All right. So Kukas is in. She hasn't played all year. But the thing is, she made the all-freshman team in the leagues. So she must have played just a little bit at the beginning. She just got the okay to come back.
Yeah, and coach said that she used her as a blocker and a hitter, but not as a setter. And so she was, because I asked about exactly that, and she said, look, she's not have a lot of setting experience, but we have used her in those blocking and hitting roles.
She was ranked number 14 in the USA as a high school player, so that was a heck of a recruit.
Here's Jade Finau has come all the way around, serving and setting. And again, she can afford a service error there. How about that? A redshirt freshman starting her first match.
That's right.
For this Washington team.
Well, since the conference started. She started 2 in the preseason.
Yes, that's right. Her first ever postseason match. And a use of the block as Washington continues to roll.
What was amazing about her stats is that coming into this match, she completed 65% of her sets. In other words, they killed 65% of her sets so far. So she obviously sets a hittable ball.
The left hand of Kukas. And New Hampshire's going to get a free ball back.
Ooh, that was a throwing ball, double hit ball.
Ball handling error, and Tia Scambray is going back to serve for the Huskies.
Good jump floater.
Outside. Forrest gets one through the block.
Well, that block had good penetration, but she snuck it in low and got a kill.
Kukas goes back out as Dunklaw comes in to serve and set for the Wildcats. Coming in up front is Maggie Kenny, 5'9", number 11, a sophomore out of Merrimack, New Hampshire. Finau outside to Van Zandt. She changes her speed.
They were waiting for that one.
And a hitting error there from Muses, who has been quiet so far today.
Yeah, they set her a pipe, but it was low and deep.
And it was the first time she's been set today.
Well, they haven't passed well enough to set her in the front court.
Right, and that's the challenge. You've got a great player, but they need to handle this very tough Washington serve.
Look at that strength with Jade. She set that ball 25 feet very accurately.
Free ball. To the outside. Forrest gets another kill.
Wow, that is such a good block up there right now for Washington. Just incredible blockers.
Tori Forrest Jr. from Powder Springs, Georgia, has 3 kills today. She's been the brightest spot offensively for this New Hampshire team, and now it's because she's outside, and when they're out of system, they're just setting Forrest.
Yeah. Oh, they stopped Sabelden finally. Controlled her. They didn't stop her.
Kill from Van Zandt on this Washington team, still with just 1 attack error. They're hitting .462 as a team. And so Washington takes the first set, and New Hampshire's going to have to come up with some answers. Back at Alaska Airlines Arena, the fans showing their colors, wearing the hats of the Husky players who have just won set number 1 in the first round of the NCAAs. Washington facing a New Hampshire team that took kind of a long route here. They shared a plane out with Duke. So they went from New Hampshire down to Raleigh, picked up Duke, and then came across the country, and it still took them less time than it did last year on a commercial flight.
Well, yeah, they couldn't even get a flight out of Boston. So this was a great option for him, and they sat on one side of the plane. They stopped and picked Duke up. They sat on the other side of the plane. But we had a lot of photos from them. Looked like they were all good buddies by the time the plane landed.
Yeah, last year was very tough on New Hampshire. They traveled that time. They did get a flight out of Boston to come to LA. They had terrible weather delays. They ended up spending 11 hours on the plane without ever getting off. Came in so late that 1 in the morning into LA.
Wow.
Meanwhile, a terrible time for them in the first set against a Washington team that had a lot of success.
Yeah, Kaylee Nelson is 5 for 5. 5. Van Sant has the most sets. She's got 10 of them. She's 3 kills, kept rest in play. But everything's cooking. Washington only had 1 error. So they're looking good. They're holding Chrissy Jones out. Chrissy Jones is a right side player, probably their best in blocker and just a tremendous hitter. But she sprained her ankle, and we'll probably see her tomorrow, I would assume.
Yeah, Jim McLaughlin says she did practice earlier this week, but he needed to see how she responded. But at the same time, Courtney Schwann did a great job for them when Chrissy Jones was out. Big dig, speaking of, by Strickland, and Kaylee Nelson takes another swing. And a kill from the right side for New Hampshire.
Well, New Hampshire's off to a good start. They dug Kaylee Nelson, which she had 5 straight kills.
And there's a look at Chrissy Jones.
Chrissy Jones,
dressed.
she wants to play. Even when she sprained her ankle, she says, "Coach, I'm fine. Put me in."
She missed 4 matches with that ankle sprain that she suffered during a warm-up for a match. And another kill for Kaylee Nelson.
Yeah, 6 for 7 swings now. Yeah, well, that was November 21st, and she's back practicing right now. Good elevation, quick off the floor. And so she's back practicing. I think this is a precaution to keep her out right now. She depends on her vertical jump so much. Chrissy Jones is such a good blocker and jumper and hitter.
Finau sends it to Van Sant. Another great dig by Lightfoot, 2 in a row.
Good job by Nelson of setting that dink shot.
And so Van Sant changes her angle and gets the kill.
She's so quick to the ball. That was an inside set. Jade set it way inside. Her feet were so quick, got to the ball, hit it right above her right shoulder.
Madison Lightfoot, the libero for New Hampshire, serving. Perfect dig from Strickland. And again, the left hand of Kukis. A third time, changes their angle, gets the kill.
They're looking pretty good right now. They're digging balls. The Wildcats they got their head up. They're ready to go. Tied up at 2-2. Oh, off-speed shot.
Changes her speed, goes along the net.
Well, what happens in that off-speed shot? The block goes up like she's going to hit it hard, and the block's on the way down, contacts the ball, and dribbles off. Watch this. See that arm action? She cocks it like she's really going to hit it hard, and then she just hits the off-speed.
Sometimes you add a little grunt in, too, and it helps.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, grunting's mandatory.
Ball being batted around like a picnic. It ends up being a net violation on New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Melanie Wade, the junior from Palo Alto, continues to serve.
Nice serve.
Ball long, no touch.
Yeah, that little wrist snap is not going to put it away. You got to really unload it against Washington. They're going to chase off-speed stuff down.
Abby Brinkman right next to Lightfoot, receiving serve. Nice pass from Lightfoot out to Brinkman.
Wow, she's running under that ball. Oh, my.
My goodness, Van Sant unloads, and they check to see, and it's a Washington ball.
Boy, that was close. That was close. Abby Brinkman has got to take a good hard swing at the ball. She's on the left side. She's had the last 2 sets.
She puts up a good pass. They put the ball the other way to Kukis. Sebeldon and Van Zandt shut it down.
Well, Kukas took a good hard swing, but right into the middle of a tough block. Van Zandt, one of the leading blockers in the country at the outside position.
Meanwhile, Melanie Wade on a serving tear. I think it's a 5-0 run from Washington now. Looking for the corner, and it's a nice idea, but a little long.
Yeah. Coach is telling Brinkman to hit the ball. Coach is over there talking to her. She's taken 3 swings where she's just trying to keep it in play. She's got to go for it.
Lightfoot gets that ball, but sends it over. Sebeldon changes her speed.
Sebeldon very aggressive on that overpass.
Doesn't get called, and it's just not a very neat or clean game right now.
Well, yeah. Only 1 millimeter of the ball was over the net when she attacked it, but it's good to be aggressive.
Melanie Wade going after Brinkman. Brinkman going to take a swing.
There's
now.
a swing. Okay. Oh, too bad she missed that shot.
Yeah, it was wide. I mean, it's a tough spot to be in. And Al, as a coach, there's decisions to be made here. Do you take her out? Do you move her out?
Well,
service
apparently she doesn't have anybody to go in for her because, yeah, I would have taken her out.
Instead, they're going to take a timeout. Maybe hope to ice the server. Melanie Wade continues. Welcome back. Set 2 of the first round of the NCAA. It's a little Macarena going on here inside Alaska Airlines Arena. Washington leading New Hampshire 1-0 and have a commanding lead in set 2.
Yeah, Washington is blocking well. They're digging well. They're doing everything well right now.
Including serving at Abby Brinkman. Kukas takes a swing and it's wide, and what they're really doing now is forcing New Hampshire into a lot of hitting errors.
Yeah, when New Hampshire hits the ball hard, they block it. So now they're trying to lob balls around and over and through, and the block is not working.
Yeah, 11 attack errors for New Hampshire. And then a big block.
Yeah, Van Zandt was all over that one. Kukas is the only one taking a swing, though. Look at that penetration. Boy, those girls get up there.
Yeah, it's a 4-0 blocking advantage to Washington right now. Brinkman putting up good passes. Finau sets, it's tight, but Van Zandt loves it.
You know, Jade sets a hittable ball. We haven't seen her since the preseason, but it's a good set. It was a little close to the net, Anne-Marie. You're absolutely right, but I think they like her set.
Van Zandt certainly eating it up, and Melanie Wade continues to serve.
Finau makes a good dig.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, you knew that was going down.
Yeah, and when there's an overpass in Kristen Van Zandt's way, cover your head.
Yeah. Yeah, she's aggressive. Yeah.
And so, Al, now they're going to make the change. They're going to take Brinkman out just to give Melanie Wade something different to look at. Maggie Kenny came in.
Yeah, I'd take her out. She's not doing the job anyway. Perfect pass. Go to the middle. Good.
Nice pass from Lightfoot, as you say. Now Finau sends it back. New Hampshire needs to get out of this rotation. And that, another hitting error.
Wow. Yeah. Coaches, look at, she's on him. She's not hanging her head. Herschinger's over there extolling her players to do something here.
Set back to Kukas.
Kukas doesn't want to hit anymore.
Lightfoot digs another ball.
That was a good swing.
And here's an overpass, but Liana Sebeldon saw it coming.
Sebeldon, the #1 blocker in the Pac-12, 1.55 blocks per set, and she's just all over that one. In the closet.
It's as good a joust as a joust for her. She says,
Yeah.
I see it coming, I see what you're thinking, and it's not going to happen on my watch.
Yeah. Look at Finau on the 9 feet from the net.
Yeah, not only is Finau setting well, but she is digging well and really paying close attention to where she digs that ball.
Yeah, she's a great digger. I really like her as a digger. She sets her feet and she gets her hands outside her body. It has good range.
Jill Hershinger takes another timeout for her New Hampshire team. Meanwhile, for Washington, well, they are on all cylinders today. This is a team who had a huge win against Stanford, second to last match of the regular season.
Yeah, absolutely. They played brilliantly. I think they had 8,600 people here. The place was rocking. And I think it's going to be that way here for the rest of the season here.
Sebelden and Van Zandt, two of the reasons why the Huskies have been so successful. And you've talked about it, Al. Sebelden's blocking and Van Zandt everything. Yeah,
Van Zandt gets over 5 points a set. That's aces, blocks, and kills. So she's having a great year. And Sebelden is just a tremendous blocker. There's really, middle blockers have to love to block. That's the biggest thing for them. If they can just stuff people, they'll be happy.
Right.
Hitting's good. I mean, hitting's okay.
Right.
But once you're a middle blocker and you're a good middle blocker, that's just so satisfying.
There's
just to go stuff people.
nothing like ruining somebody's day. They go up, right, to have a plan to hit, and you just wreck their day.
Yeah, if you scouted them, you know where they want to hit before they know where they want to hit.
That's right.
And she reads so well. I mean, she knows where the ball's going. Sebelden is all over it. Look at, she's talking to her players now. She's talking to Jade, telling her something, where this hitter likes to hit or something. The middle blockers should call the blocking schemes. They should tell the other blockers what to do. If I didn't have good middle blockers when I was coaching, then I'd have to call the blocking schemes. Because sometimes we'd have to commit on blockers who are really good in the middle. But if you have good middle blockers, they'll take care of all that.
Meanwhile, Melanie Wade finally with an error. I believe she served 15 points.
Oh, my goodness. See, nothing matters but how many points do you serve.
Yeah.
There's no stat on that.
Yeah.
I mean, the coach knows that. I always knew that. I know how many points each one of my players serve. But there's no NCAA box on that. All you have is aces and errors.
And in again for Washington came number 4 in white, Courtney Schwann. She's the freshman out of Auburn, Washington that we talked about, stepping in Chrissy Jones's absence.
Well, the first match she played in, she hit .433. And that was against a pretty good Arizona team. So she's done a good job in there, that's for sure.
Yeah, and she had no notice, by the way, that she was going to do that because Chrissy Jones' injury occurred during the warm-up for that match.
Yeah, so Courtney is a very good substitute. Here we go. Difficult swing. She just keeps that one in play.
And looking smooth, but for Muses came just a little wide and outside.
Yeah, I'll tell you, she's not quite as good at blocker as Chrissy Jones. That's
Schwann
where there's
isn't.
a little Schwann.
Yes.
But I think she hits very well.
Outside. Schwann's going to get some blocking practice here. Scambray, meanwhile, has that one get away from her.
Yeah, but she should have kept that one in play. Schwann should have been able to handle that.
Well, it didn't go to Schwann. It came out this way.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, sorry. No, Schwann was behind. I'm saying that was Scambray.
Yeah, right.
Schwann would love to have that ball come her way.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Nice serve.
Van Zandt was going to let that one go.
Schwann calling for it. This time she's going to get to swing at it.
Oh, that was tricky. Came up with it, though.
Still in play. Scambray outside, goes just a little long.
Yeah, this is the weakest thing that Tia Scambray does, is hit the ball. She's only about 233, which is low compared to the rest of the hitters. For a normal team, it would be good. But 233 on Washington's team, not so good. We've got Van Zandt hitting 319 and Kaylee Nelson hitting 333. So those are the other two outside hitters. Oh, Cassie.
New Hampshire wants to get out of this rotation. Don't let Cassie Strickland get on another roll. Pancaked up. Uh-oh, put away by Van Zandt, and Cassie Strickland's going to get hotter from the back line, serving again.
Boy, I love Van Sant being so aggressive there. This is not a set ball. It's just a bump ball, but Van Sant just aggressively is all over it. Here's Cassie. That was a perfect toss.
From the backcourt, Van Sant passes. Melanie Wade in the middle. It's on the line, and Cassie Strickland will go back again.
Now, when I say perfect toss, I mean Cassie tosses the ball in front of the end line, so she can jump aggressively into the court and really bomb the ball.
Coming up at the break, we're going to send you to our Pac-12 studios for the Pac-12 intermission report with Adam Kohler. Here's Cassie Strickland again. Took a little something off of it and put a little more movement on it.
Yeah, that was a terrible toss, that's why.
And another kill, this time from Schwann.
Yeah. Now, Cassie tossed the ball 5 feet behind the end line last time. What she's trying to do is toss the ball a couple of feet in front of the end line. Then they have less time to react, and then she'll really jump on it. Let's see. That was about the end line. Not so good.
So 2 tosses that were less than perfect, and yet still only 2 hitting errors, by the way, for Washington. Yes, Al?
I was going to say, when she tosses the ball right, she serves with over 50 miles an hour when she gets it in front of her.
A service error by New Hampshire puts Washington at set point. And it's just been tough for New Hampshire. They have 15 attack errors to Washington's 2. They're hitting negative numbers to Washington's 453, and Washington has these aces.
Well, they don't see any team like this back there. This team is Washington's phenomenal. Now, Hawaii will give them a good battle tomorrow.
And with a change of speed, there goes the second set. Washington over New Hampshire, 2-0. The coaches will take a break. Jill Hirsching will try to come up with a plan to slow the Huskies' roll. After the break, we're going to send you to our Pac-12 Network studios. Adam Kohler will be in there and give you an update all around the conference, including a little college soccer.
Hey there, I'm Adam Kohler with your Pac-12 Network's intermission report. We'll get you right back out to New Hampshire and Washington in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at some of the second round matchups that wrapped up earlier today. Oregon advanced past the opening round for the 3rd straight year with a sweep over Santa Clara. Now they're squaring off against LSU. First set, Ducks up 13-9. Martine Bettendorf gets the set on the axe, puts away the kill. One of 18 on the night for Bettendorf. Oregon takes the first 25-22. They split the next 2. Match point now for Oregon. LSU's Brianna Holman goes long, and Oregon wins 3-1, advancing to the 3rd round of the NCAA tournament. Number 11, Wildcats taking on BYU in the 2nd round of the tournament earlier today. First set, we're even at 18, and here comes Arizona. Maddie Kingdon gets the transition kill off the high swing, and the Wildcats take the first set 25-22. Kingdon with 33 kills, 23 digs on the night. But BYU takes the 2nd and 3rd set. Now match point for the Cougs. Kingdon swings into the net, and BYU pulls off the upset. They take it 3-1. They'll face FSU in the 3rd round. All right, we've got some more final scores from you in the first round. 4 Pac-12 teams have wrapped it up, and all 4 are winners as USC, Utah, Oregon State, and Colorado advancing to the 2nd round. We'll get you back out to New Hampshire, Washington in just a moment. But right now, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'll have your Pac-12 Sports Report update.
NCAA Tournament Volleyball is presented by Tashikara. We've got the ball, you bring the game. Gorgeous night in Seattle. Some volleyball inside Alaska Airlines Arena, the first round of the NCAA tournament. The 3-seed Washington over New Hampshire, 2-0 in decisive fashion. I'm Anne-Marie Anderson alongside 21-time national championship coach Al Skates. And now we knew that Washington was going to dominate this match, and they have.
Yes, they have. They're putting on a serving clinic out here. Kaylee Nelson started the first serve of the first set with an ace. that is moving down the sideline, and it breaks like a knuckleball about 3 feet, hits the line. Then Cassie Strickland is just amazing. She served some about 50 miles an hour tonight, and she's getting her aces, running off points, and it's just been an incredible clinic so far. Now Van Sant, by the end of the night, is going to have more sets, more kills, and more points than anybody. You can see her in action right now. She's quick off the floor, got a great range, has all the shots, hits from all 6 rotations. One of the best players in the country.
Yeah, it was 5 service aces in the first set alone, and as you take a look at the match stats, the hitting percentage tells the entire story.
Yeah, the reason that New Hampshire's hitting minus -095 is they got stuffed 5 times, and then they're trying to avoid the block. They made 10 hitting errors. They've got to challenge the block and just go for it.
And a service ace to start things off in the 3rd set, Al, as Washington picks right back up where they left off.
Fantastic servers. Finau gets the ace. Oh, no, that was
Scambray.
Scambray. And how many did she serve? How many points? Quite a few.
No, it was Melanie Wade served 15 points in the 2nd set alone. And if you'd like to join the conversation, we invite you to on Twitter, hashtag UNHVS versus UW. Tell us what you think of this Washington team that has the 3rd seed. It's the highest seed for this team since 2005 in the NCAA tournament, and they are the highest seed in this region, hosting a regional here next weekend. And they're either going to be playing in it or they're going to have a hard time. They're going to play Hawaii tomorrow should they win this match.
Yeah, that's going to be a good match tomorrow. Hawaii looked very good tonight, beating Duke 3 straight.
Kaylee Nelson, meanwhile, also looking great tonight. She was so strong in the first set.
5 for 5 in the first set, and just takes a good swing every time. One of the best blockers and hitters in the country.
Tia Scambray continues to serve.
Good dig by Scambray.
And an over dig and just put back down, and it is.
Well, yeah, they snuck it in there. Little joust at the net, and they won.
A Wildcat points that I think they looked up at the same moment Sandy did. Yeah. Satora back to serve, a senior from Avon, New York.
Skyball. I haven't seen one of those.
Ball sent long. Strickland handles it. Finau sends it outside. Van Sant unloads.
Yeah. You know, you can't really serve skyballs because of these big scoreboards you have here. Back in the old days, before the big scoreboards, Pauley Pavilion had a ceiling this high. We used to serve underhand indoors as high as we could.
Make them look at the lights.
Yes, sir.
Krista Van Sant picking up another kill.
Oh, a left-handed slide, and they were ready for it. How could they be ready for it? They haven't even seen it.
Exactly. They just had it's the bunch block, right? They're in
the bunch. They were there. Well, that's what a bunch block is. You start in the middle so you can help out against the other team's quick hitters, any crosses or X's in the middle, and then you run and turn and swing block. This is the play before. This left-handed slide, and 2 blockers were on it because they were in a bunch. So the right side blocker didn't even have to move.
Debbie Muses back to serve for the Wildcats. Muses had just 1 kill in the 2nd set.
And this was the most valuable player of their conference.
Yeah, and they're just having trouble getting their pass where they need it to be. I mean, as we've said,
she's a middle attacker, and you can't use a middle attacker when Washington's serving you off the court.
Yeah, and that is the difference. Muses has all the talent in the world in terms of her athleticism. She's a spark plug for this team, and Jill Hershinger says, look, she would be a libero in a bigger league, in a bigger conference.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's 5'11", a middle blocker. That's, some of the blockers in the Pac-12 go 6'8".
Yep.
Well, one of the blockers in the Pac-12 goes 6'8".
Yes. And so Washington, again, builds an early lead. Bailey Tanner back to serve and set for the Huskies. And perhaps, Al, the most important thing for Washington today is that they're working with a setter, Jade Finau, who's getting some valuable experience because Katie Beals was injured in the last regular season match.
Yeah, you can't beat playoff experience, and she's coming through. She's a great digger. She has good court sense, and she's playing with a lot of confidence.
The other key for Washington today is that Chrissy Jones is getting another day of rest. She's Pac-12 freshman first team. Courtney Schwann is playing in her absence today as they continue to rest her after practicing her this week.
Well, she's on a jump count. We spoke with Jim McLaughlin a day or so ago, and they're giving her a few more jumps. When we spoke to him, I think on Wednesday, she was up to 35 jumps that day in practice. But still, that's pretty controlled jumps, although she was running her routes. But when you have a middle blocker next to you, it's a little trickier sometimes.
Krista Van Zandt now just taking full arm swings.
Yeah, she had 10 kills at the half and 20 attempts, no errors, and she's not slowing down.
Pac-12 Player of the Year, last year's National Player of the Year as well. And Brenna Buckwalter with a kill from behind the setter, keeping New Hampshire alive, and now they're showing a little more spark in this third set.
Well, this is the closest they've been. 8-5, I mean, after the first couple of points.
Yes, tied up at 2 apiece in set number 2. Melanie Wade served 15 consecutive points to make it 17-2. And there you do see Chrissy Jones now in, getting a couple of jumps.
She had 10 minutes to run around probably while they were in the dressing room. She probably was running up and down the corridors, got a little sweat on.
And Jim McLaughlin told us the other day that it's probably smartest to use Chrissy Jones, and you talked about it too, right after she warms up, and so that's why they're maybe just testing her out in this third set a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes we took a 10-minute timeout between the second and third sets, and if I hadn't used a player, I'd have that player running around while I'd be talking to the other players. Exactly like a boxer getting a sweat before it goes out the ring.
Exactly, and that one just a little bit wide from Tia Scambray. Meanwhile, I'm watching kind of how Chrissy Jones lands after her blocks. Is she landing on one leg or not? We'll take a look. Madison Lightfoot back to serve. And a service ace for Madison Lightfoot.
Scrambe, a good passer normally. She's passing at 97% for the season. That makes only 3% errors. So
one more dig for Madison Lightfoot, and she will be the program's all-time single-season record holder in digs. She has 560.
Well, she looked good on that swing. She landed on both feet. Chrissy Jones, I'm speaking about. Now she's coming out, which is normal. She has 3 rotations across the front. She comes in for the setter, and then she rotates out, and the setter comes in, Finau, and serves the ball. So Jim McLaughlin talking to Chrissy Jones about hitting technique. That's interesting.
Outside. Off the block, Van Zandt puts it up. Finau goes back to Nelson.
I noticed Finau's setting Nelson quicker now than she did in the beginning of the match. Ball's down, the referee says.
Wildcat point.
The umpire said the ball was down, actually. Now here's the pancake on the big screen. We're looking at it, and here it is on your TV screen, and it looked like it came off to me, come off the hand.
I think there's going to be no energy spent by Washington arguing it. It's a 10-9 lead for a Washington team that is enjoying the test. And Melanie Wade running it from the middle the other way.
Well, that gap set is a little harder to coordinate. Jade Finau did a good job. That was perfect height and good speed. That was a nice set by Finau.
There's a 9-point total for New Hampshire in the first set, 6 points for them in the second. And they're in this third set, 11-9.
Nice set by Cassie.
Big block. Other way to Kaylee Nelson. She tools it off Brooklyn's hand.
See, that was an inside set. Kaylee got there so fast she could tool the end blocker and hit it off her left hand. That's how quick she is.
Washington's gone once around the dial. Tia Scambray back to serve.
Tough serve. Right down the line and breaking.
And Muses is shut down.
Yeah, another block. 2 people up on that one. The middle tracked the slide and was right there waiting for it.
And I think Muses is feeling good that she's at least getting a little bit more in the offense now. New Hampshire passing the ball better.
Yeah, they are. Well, you can't simulate this type of serving in your own gym because nobody in the gym can serve like the Washington players can. So unless you bring in some volleyball players from some other place, maybe some professionals or a men's team that can serve a little harder. A lot of teams do that, by the way.
Yes, they do. Get up on a box too sometimes.
Well, yeah,
and
the coaches get up on a box.
Right.
Yeah, that's what a lot of coaches in the league do, and they put the box 20 feet from the net. Simulate Cassie's serve, for example, and serve spin serves.
What a dig. Turn the other way, big kill from Muses in New Hampshire, finding a little bit of a reason to celebrate every positive play.
I like the way Muses stepped back on this. Okay, here's the dig. Oh, very nice dig. Comes flying in and gets it. Very athletic move.
Kaylee Nelson. And again, another dig from Dunklau, but they're saying that
12
was a
was
violation.
Yeah.
But Dunklau's put up a couple of consecutive great digs to spark the Wildcats, give them a little bit of energy.
Yeah, she was the conference setter of the year. Dunklau was.
Yep, player and setter of the year.
Player and setter of the year, both. Right.
Here she is, Dunklau to their middle. Muses puts it up. Finau tries to run the middle, and Sebelden unravels her arm all the way for a full reach.
Kukas is not going to challenge the block anymore. She's rolling it.
Washington with a 4-point lead in set number 3. Welcome back to Alaska Airlines Arena. NCAA volleyball action, first round. The 3-seed Washington in control of this match, but New Hampshire, Al, putting up a bigger fight in set number 3.
Yeah, they're handling the serve a lot better. They've seen these tough serves for a couple of sets, and they're getting the ball up. They're not getting aced as much, and they're not shanking the ball as much, and they're going to their middle a little bit right now.
Meanwhile, for Washington, no surprise when you look at their kill leaders, Van Zant, Nelson, Scambray, contributing among others.
Yeah, well, Nelson is no surprise, that's for sure.
Yeah.
She starts in the left front, only has 3 rotations, so she has about half as many attempts usually as Krista Van Sant, for example.
Melanie Wade serving, and again, New Hampshire having trouble with it. We'll remind you that Melanie Wade has served 15 consecutive points in set number 2.
Yes, that is indeed notable.
And Madison Lightfoot with that dig picked up the record. She is the single season record holder for digs for New Hampshire, 561. She'd like to get a lot more, Al, and try to maybe take a set off of Washington.
That's right. She's only a junior too. Yeah. 33 digs versus Albany in the finals, which they won 3-1, the league finals.
And Muse's serve is a service error.
Okay, now Muses, the middle attacker, is standing in the middle of the court passing. So how many middle blockers do you see passing? I've coached 50 years at UCLA as a head coach, and I had one middle blocker who was in the passing rotation and played all 6 rotations and was probably my best passer. Only one.
In 50 years.
50 years.
Yep.
Of course, his first year we went 38-0. He was just a passer and a middle blocker, but later I made him an outside hitter. His name was Asbjørn Volstad, and he came from Norway. He was a little older. They go to school longer there in high school. And he knew how to play when he walked through the door.
Well, and you and I talking earlier, you've had the situation as well that Washington's in having a starting setter go down with an injury and having to make that change in the middle of the season.
Well, that's pretty incredible. That happened to me in 2006. We had our starting setter sprained an ankle badly, and we had a freshman named Matt Wade, and Mike Seeley, the present head coach at UCLA, was my setting coach. He was my assistant coach then, but he had already left to take the associate job at the University of Hawaii because he wanted to coach maybe at Hawaii when Soji retired. He has not yet retired.
Which has not happened.
So he had to take the job at UCLA, which isn't bad. And won an NCAA championship. But when he left, Matt Wade already knew how to set, and he came in and set 10 straight wins. And the other guy was ready to go, but I didn't put him back in until we lost to Hawaii 30-15. And then he came back in and went the rest of the way, the senior.
So Belden there with a kill, and yes, Katie Beal will not be coming back in this year as she has an ACL injury and is out. So for Finau, she can join Bailey Tanner as long as this team wants to go, and Washington is looking to make a long run through the field of 64. There is Katie Beals on the sidelines with her ACL injury, tore her in the final points of the regular season versus
2
Washington
points
State.
to go in the match.
And a kill from Scambray.
Well, it's good to see Scambray take a good swing like that. That always feels good.
Jim McLaughlin has so much respect for Scambray, saying, look, I've got 3 daughters. I hope that they are just like her. He likes her mental toughness. He likes the way that she tries to learn.
He likes the .28 aces per set. He likes the great passing, and he loves the digging. The hitting is moving upward. What happened is, as a freshman, you know, I had a guy named Karch Karai. He was not a good hitter as a freshman, and you know, he was the best digger. He could go wherever he wanted on defense. I didn't care. He wasn't confined to any certain space. If he wanted to dig left back, right back, he was supposed to be in area 1. But he did that. But and we're going to look at some replays now of Van Sant. And here we go. Oh, that looks like a hockey player with a volleyball on his head. Here's Van Sant reaching high over the block and crushing the ball. That's a high set. Requires a lot of timing to wait for that. Brings that down with authority. Quick off the floor. You love the overpass, of course. Another high ball. Inside, she gets to it. She hits everything right on top of her right shoulder. That's what I like.
Last year's National Player of the Year is Krista Van Zandt. And Al, when you look at this team now, you wanted to see what Finau looked like in the offense. Now you've got a good look. How deep can this team go into this tournament?
Well, you know what? I like her. I picked them to make the semis, even with the injury to a key setter. And now I like Jade Finau. I think she's a great digger, and she plays with confidence. And I don't think they lose too much.
What an incredible pass by Madison Lightfoot off of Cassie Strickland. A kill from New Hampshire, and they limit Cassie Strickland to just 1 serve.
Yeah, that's good. That's good for them. Ribeiro has a nice serve, but Van Sant just nailed the pass.
And it's a free ball to Washington. Tanner goes back. Chrissy Jones gets another swing in.
See, Chrissy is still has good height on the hit. I don't know if she's lost a little vertical jump with that injury to her ankle, but she looks good. She's not quite as explosive and quick as I saw her against earlier this season. I've done 3 of her matches so far.
Finau serves down the line. It's back to Muses. Plenty of traffic there to pick it up, and Krista Van Zandt from the back court. A change of speed works for Abby Brinkman and the Wildcats.
Well, Nelson dropped her hands on that one, and you shouldn't do that as a blocker. You should try to tip the ball, keep it in play, try to tip it up. But she dropped her hands. That's why the ball went down so quickly. The defensive player didn't have time to get to it.
The Wildcats hitting .310 in this set alone, and that's been the big difference for them. Just 2 hitting errors with 11 kills, and that's how they've kept it a little bit more competitive and close.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, before this set started, they had made 10 actual hitting errors and only had 5 blocked. That should be 1-to-1 at least. Good teams actually get more balls blocked than they hit out or into the net.
Courtney Schwann now in to serve. Get some valuable experience all the way around. Serves at Muses. Muses attacks and says, finally, I'm allowed to show what I can do.
Well, that's interesting. Courtney Schwann is a front court player, and she is now a serving substitute and a defensive specialist, and will pass in the back court. And Cassie shanked one. Not badly.
Back the other way, and another kill from Tori Forrest. New Hampshire starting to show some spunk, too.
Yeah.
They're having a good time.
Tori Forrest pointing at the blockers and said, yeah, I got that one.
Yeah.
She pointing at the blockers.
Wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but okay.
I love it.
Free ball to the Huskies. Finau goes back. Nelson unloads.
Yeah, one-on-one. She loved that. She came in late and fast with a full head of steam and jumped on that set.
New Hampshire takes a timeout as the 3 seed. The Washington Huskies works their way towards a sweep in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Washington sporting some really talented players on their team, as is the whole Pac-12. And of course, Krista Van Zandt, one of the players honored this year in the Pac-12. Mary Kate Marshall of Oregon State, the freshman of the year. Cassie Strickland, the libero of the year in her first year in that position. Maddie Bugg, Pac-12 setter of the year. And of course, we can't say enough about Krista Van Zandt.
Well, Maddie Bugg for Stanford has the fastest sets in the league. I think their offense is faster than anybody's I've seen so far, but the Washington block was good enough to shut it down anyway. Well, Krista Van Zandt has had so many honors this year. I mean, it's incredible. Academic honors, they just keep flowing in week by week. Well, actually, this last week, she got a bunch of them.
It's true, and take a look at the updated double trouble at the net graphic. We told you that Sebelden and Van Zandt were going to be impact players, as they always are. And again, tonight, they are doing incredible things.
You know, sometimes when you're just pounding a team, as they have tonight, you tend to ease off. But Van Zandt's numbers are still going up here as we're getting into the third set. So
Melanie Wade back to serve, and the fans inside Alaska Airlines Arena will turn out en masse again tomorrow, as this Washington team will likely face Hawaii. Hawaii beat Duke earlier today in the first round. Muses meets Sebelden.
Sebelden, when the setter's stumbling forward like that and get one hand with the ball, it's usually a quick set. Sebelden was just waiting for it.
The fans are on their feet here inside Alaska Airlines Arena for the first victory of this NCAA tournament for Washington. Ball is sent long, and New Hampshire is sent home by the Huskies in a sweep.
Well, I mean, that's what you would expect, but Washington played very well. It was good to see Chrissy Jones come back in. She hasn't played since November 21st, and looks like she'll be ready to go for tomorrow's match versus Hawaii.
For Washington, it is some questions answered. It is some experience for Jade Finau as well. What do you expect to see in tomorrow's matchup between Washington and Hawaii?
Well, I think Finau will get a little better. She started off setting real high. Now she's set more of the offense. She's in sync with the other setter now. So I think she'll have a good match.
We'll leave you here and send you to Stanford for Krista Blanc and Holly McPeak, as Bakersfield is facing Stanford right now.